Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Rishi decided to leave the Obrey's house just because he doesn't want to marry Malishka, but Neelam was able to catch up with him and ask him not to leave the house. So let's continue from there. Rishi tells Neelam that he doesn't want to marry Malishka. Neelam says Malishka is your happiness and she asks him to understand this at the earliest. Rishi says if you force me, then I will leave from this house. Neelam asks if Rishi doesn't respect her and she threatens to also leave the house and she emotionally blackmails Rishi to marry Malishka. Neelam asks Rishi to decide if she should leave from the house or from the world. She says, I have given birth to you and you hate me so much. Rishi says, I never hate you. You are the life of this house. This house is yours. I cannot ask you to leave. He says he is helpless and that was why he wanted to leave. Neelam says that she will pack her bags and she would also leave the house with Rishi. Rishi asks Neelam not to go and says, don't force me to marry Malishka. Neelam says, okay, I will not force you. Rishi says, I will not go and he goes back to his room. Neelam stops Devika and says nobody should know about everything that you heard or saw tonight, and Devika assures her that she will not tell anyone and she goes. Rishi thinks that mom should forget about Malishka and his marriage because he will bring Lakshmi back to the house by all means. Neelam thinks that she would do something so that Rishi would tell everyone that he wants to marry Malishka by himself. She says you will marry Malishka for your mom. Kiran asks Malishka not to worry and says Neelam will make sure that the marriage happen. Malishka says my marriage will be forced now and says she doesn't want Rishi to be forced to marry her. Malishka says to Kiran that she wants Rishi to say yes happily. Kiran asks Malishka to wait for some time and says Rishi will love you again and he will realize this. She says, I want your happiness and she goes. Sonal tells Malishka that the same thing would happen as Malishka wants it and says she wants to do a big drama in the Obrey mansion tomorrow and Malishka is shocked. Malishka asks Sonal that what is she planning to do at the Obrey's house. Sonal shows Malishka a poison bottle and says they will use it as their trump card which will force Rishi to marry Malishka. Sonal says, Malishka, what else will you make me to do? And she have an evil smile on her face. Lakshmi wakes up seeing a dream of Malishka and Rishi as a married couple. Shalu asks that what happened, but Lakshmi says nothing. Then Shalu asks Lakshmi to sleep and says nothing would happen. Lakshmi thinks that she should not think anything and she should sleep and she keep herself strong. She then thinks if Rishi will really marry Malishka. Rishi wakes up thinking about Lakshmi. Neelam thinks that Virendra is upset with her because she kicked Lakshmi out of Rishi's life. She thinks that Virendra would appreciate me after a few days and he would praise Malishka because Malishka will bring happiness into Rishi's life. She calls someone and says she has some work and says she will pay 10,000 for it. She then says my son will not miss Lakshmi and he would forget her. Ayush comes to Lakshmi and hugs her crying. Lakshmi asks that how is he? Ayush says he has gained 5 kg and he is looking fresh. He calls Lakshmi as sister-in-law and he hugs her. He says everything seems to be empty without you and says if my condition is like this, then how will Rishi's condition be? Ayush asks Lakshmi to tell him what has happened and why did Lakshmi and Rishi get separated. Lakshmi avoids the topic and she asks if Ayush wants to have juice and says she will make fresh juice for him. Ayush says I will not force you and we will not talk on this topic and he asks Lakshmi to sit. He says if you make food, then I would have it all. Ayush asks Lakshmi to get ready and go to a restaurant. Lakshmi says to meet Rishi. Ayush says no, to meet my uncle Virendra. Lakshmi is happy and says she would go and meet him. Ayush thinks that my work is done and he says bye and Lakshmi asks him to take care. Ayush says to Lakshmi that I never thought that I would ever think about such situation whereby you will be separated from my brother. Lakshmi says it is destiny. Ayush says I am sure that Rishi and Lakshmi will be Rishmi forever and he smiles and goes. Rishi thinks to talk to Kiran and he calls her. Kiran tells Malishka and Sonal that Rishi is calling and she picks the call. Rishi asks that how is Kiran? Kiran says she is much better. Rishi says he wants to talk to her. Malishka asks Kiran to put the call on loudspeaker and Kiran asks Rishi to come to her house if he wants to talk to her because she is just like his mother and Rishi says okay. Rishi is about to go to Kiran's house and he sees Shalu in his room and he says he will talk to Kiran later and he ends the call. Malishka asks Kiran not to listen to Rishi if he says that he will not marry her. Kiran says okay and she goes from there to attend to a call. Sonal says, what is this twist? And why did Rishi wants to talk to auntie? And Malishka says it is because Lakshmi has trapped Rishi. Shalu asks Rishi. Rishi asks that how is Lakshmi and Shalu? Shalu says Lakshmi is missing you a lot. Rishi says even I am missing Lakshmi, and he asks if Lakshmi told Shalu that she is missing him. Shalu says yes, and she asks Rishi to go to Paradise Sheraton and to meet Lakshmi because she and Ayush plan to make Lakshmi go there. Sonia overhears them and she thinks that thank God that she heard them. She thinks to inform Malishka, and Rishi happily leaves from there to go and meet Lakshmi. Malishka gets Sonia's call and she picks it. Sonia tells Malishka that Lakshmi is meeting Rishi often, and today also, Lakshmi is going to meet Rishi. Malishka asks where, and she gets the address from Sonia. Sonia says bring Rishi closer to you, else Lakshmi will grab Rishi, and then your wish to marry Rishi will just be a dream. Malishka asks Sonia to relax and says I will do something, and she ends the call. Malishka tells Sonal that Lakshmi walked 4 steps ahead of them, and Lakshmi is meeting Rishi even after their divorce. Sonal gets evil plan again, and she asks if they should do something. Malishka says something like what we did that night, and says we both have the same thought. Sonal says to Malishka that we will move 4 steps ahead of Lakshmi, and Malishka thinks that night, Lakshmi just saw me on the bed with Rishi, but now, Lakshmi will see and hear about it too. Neelam takes out money from the locker. She thinks that she will get Rishi married to Malishka so that Lakshmi's inauspicious effect will go away from her son's life. Rishi comes to the restaurant. He sees Malishka on the floor pretending to have fallen down while someone tries to help her. Malishka tells Rishi that they should sit for some time because she got her foot sprained. She asks Rishi that why did you come here? Rishi hesitates, and Malishka thinks that Rishi is afraid to tell her about Lakshmi because she threatened him yesterday, and she smiles a bit. Malishka asks Rishi that what will he tell his family about them. Lakshmi comes there and looks for Virendra. She sees Malishka and thinks that Rishi is with her. She sees Rishi's back, and then she hears Rishi saying, I love you, Malishka, but you know why I got married to Lakshmi? Then I felt sympathetic for her, and how can I leave Lakshmi helplessly just like that? Rishi says to Malishka that Lakshmi is an orphan and her aunt is bad. He says, I thought that who will marry Lakshmi if I leave her, and I told her that I cannot live without her, but that is not true. Rishi says that night we were on the bed together. I flowed in emotions with you because I love you very much, but I don't want to leave Lakshmi. Rishi says to Malishka that I couldn't fulfill my marriage or my love promise to Lakshmi. Malishka pretends to cry hearing Rishi. Lakshmi hears Rishi from afar and gets shocked. Shalu and Ayush are drinking tea at a store. Shalu asks if everything will be fine after Rishi and Lakshmi meet at the restaurant. Ayush hopes that everything will be fine, and Shalu also hopes for the same. Ayush says to Shalu that maybe everything will be fine between Rishi and Lakshmi today itself. Lakshmi feels bad hearing that Rishi is sympathetic for her and he is burdened by her favors, and that was why he is feeling bad that she left the house. She thinks if this is true that her togetherness with Rishi was for this thing, and she feels bad. Neelam comes somewhere in her car and she asks the driver to give the envelope of money to someone. The driver gets down from the car. Neelam calls the person and says, my man is bringing the money to you. Now hear what you should do. And she talks silently. Lakshmi walks towards Rishi and then she thinks that she should not go to him because what is left to talk about? She goes out of the restaurant and Malishka smiles saying that her plan worked. Virendra is in the car and he thinks that Lakshmi is made for Rishi and for their house and says, I don't know how Neelam will understand. Lakshmi calls Virendra. Virendra says the Oberoi house is lonely without you. Lakshmi asks, where are you? Virendra says he is going to the office after finishing a meeting and he asks if he should come to Lakshmi's house and see her, but Lakshmi says no and says, I just called to hear your voice. Lakshmi realized that Ayush and Shalu planned to make her come to the restaurant to meet Rishi and not Virendra. Virendra asks Lakshmi if everything is fine. Lakshmi says yes. Virendra says God will make everything fine and he asks her to have strength and he asks her to tell him if she needs anything, and Lakshmi said yes. Lakshmi asks Virendra to take his medicines on time and Virendra says yes and he asks her to be happy always and they end the call. Lakshmi thinks that Ayush lied to me so that I can come here and talk to Rishi. But nothing can be found between me and Rishi after whatever I heard Rishi saying, that he is only caring for me because he is feeling pity on me because my parents are no more. Malishka tells Rishi that now they can go home. Rishi thinks that he has come here to meet Lakshmi, and Ayush and Shalu must have made Lakshmi come to the restaurant with great difficulty. He thinks to message Lakshmi to wait for him. Malishka asks Rishi to meet the person for whom he has come before, and she gets up, but she pretends as if she cannot walk. So Rishi lifts Malishka in his hand and takes her out of the restaurant. Malishka sees Lakshmi standing outside and she smiles evilly, thinking that her arrow has hit Lakshmi's heart and her heart must be broken into thousands of pieces, and every piece must be saying that Rishi is a betrayal. Malishka thinks that Rishi wanted to betray me and fulfill relationship with Lakshmi, but now Rishi will fulfill love with me. As Rishi is carrying Malishka, Malishka kisses on Rishi's cheeks and pretends as if Rishi is kissing her, and Lakshmi is shocked to see that. Malishka asks Rishi that where are you taking me? Rishi says you wanted to go home, so I am taking you home. Malishka thinks that very soon, your home will become mine. Lakshmi returned home. Bani asked Lakshmi that how was her meeting with Virendra's uncle. Lakshmi says Ayush lied and he had called me to the restaurant to meet Rishi. Bani says I know. Lakshmi asks if they all are involved in the plan. Bani says yes and says we wanted your divorce to get cancelled, and Lakshmi is shocked. Rishi takes Malishka to her room and keeps her on the bed. He messaged Lakshmi that he is coming to meet her, but Lakshmi messaged back and says I am not coming. Malishka asks Rishi what happened. Rishi says nothing. Malishka thinks that whatever happened is good. Neither Lakshmi nor Rishi understand what is happening, and she thinks that her plan was good. A flashback is shown. Sonia sees Lakshmi coming to the restaurant and she messaged Malishka. Malishka checks the message and looks at Rishi. Malishka signals to the waiter and the waiter brings the drink. Malishka takes the drink and intentionally spills it on Rishi's clothes, so she asks Rishi to go and clean it, and Rishi goes. After Rishi goes to the washroom to clean up, Malishka signals to the mimicry artist to come. The mimicry artist sits down wearing a jacket similar to Rishi's jacket and pretending to be Rishi. Lakshmi comes there and sees Rishi's back, not Rishi, but the mimicry artist. Malishka asks, will you marry me, Rishi? And then the mimicry artist started saying all the dialogues that he only married Lakshmi for sympathy, and Lakshmi gets upset hearing that, and Lakshmi turns and she goes away from there. Malishka says great job to the mimicry artist and she asks him to go to his place. Then Rishi comes there from the washroom and he collides with the mimicry artist. He says sorry and the mimicry artist goes, and Rishi also goes to Malishka, and then the flashback ends and Malishka feels victorious that her plan worked. So it was not Rishi that said all those things. Of course, we should know from where he was saying, when I was on the bed with you that night, I was flowing in your emotions, blah, blah, blah. Because Rishi did not even know that he was on bed with her. So Malishka made a plan with someone to come and pretend to be Rishi and said all those nasty things. And now Lakshmi is angry, thinking that it was Rishi that said all those things. So thank you guys for watching. This month of September, I'm ready to give you guys back to back because I'm on leave, so I have time for YouTube. So I'll give you guys update back to back in this month of September. Thank you guys for watching. Please always watch and always give it a like in order for YouTube to recommend it to other people. I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.